Retargeting, essentially, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that because you guys all, by at this point, you know exactly what retargeting is. Essentially, if you have ever, you know, shopped online, you were looking for shoes, clothing, whatever it might be, you entered something into your cart. Maybe you didn't buy it though. Well, next time you log into Facebook, what do you think is going to happen? Hey, remember those shoes? Remember that shirt? Remember whatever it was, that car you were looking at? That's retargeting, right? And now retargeting has become one of the most important aspects of most of these bigger businesses. That's a huge portion of their business is staying in front and building that brand recognizability and recognition. And that's essentially what we're trying to do. And what I would say is we're not just doing retargeting. What we're calling our, setup is remarketing, because it's more than just, retargeting some people with some stuff. We really want to be able to do this as a multifaceted approach, a triple pronged attack, if you will, where yes, you're bringing in leads, great. We want to follow them around with people, but with ads, but you also want to be able to drip on them with emails and text messages. Maybe you want to kind of correlate this with your mailing campaigns, so you can have a postcard that's going out to people, and then also take that exact same image and use it as a an ad campaign at a very low cost on Facebook, so you can follow the same people around in multiple locations, which again enhances your brand recognition. The more people see you, the more they know you. The more they know you, the more they begin to trust you. We all know it's the know, like, and trust model, and that's essentially where this all gets to. So
Zach, what do I do when a video goes viral? How do I milk that for all it's worth?
oh, live, he says live. We're good.
We are live, and I am super excited to be here with Logan from StreetText. And I just learned that his alter ego is the Hulk. So I'm kind of excited because I want to learn a little bit about that, just a little bit. And Logan is a former realtor who brings years of firsthand industry knowledge and experience to the team as well. And he loves being active and participating in sporting events. And he dedicates even his evenings of his week to playing different sport and local leagues, which sounds pretty cool. So before we jump in, and so you guys can learn more about what StreetText is and the special offer that we have for you for LabCoatAgents, we will share that. And first, I just want to say that I am happy to flamingo with y'all. My name is Tara Carter, and I am coming to you live from the Ritz-Carlton, which is a new construction community, and that will be built in Pompano Beach in South Florida. Units are starting at about 1 million. Penthouses are already sold. Those only started at 12, no big deal. So it is a beautiful view, have great energy. So I am really, really excited for our call today to learn more about StreetText, and I will drop in the link for the Dropbox for the Ritz-Carlton, so you can check out that. And guess what, realtors? They're paying 5%. All you have to do is bring them a buyer. So that's great. So Logan, tell us a little bit, did I miss anything that was important about your bio and about StreetText?
No, you nailed it. I would say one thing that I just learned about myself is I now want to buy a unit at the Ritz-Carlton in Pompano Beach here. So I mean, as a Canadian, a wannabe snowbird, I think that it's kind of like one of those prerequisites. You kind of need to have that place in Florida. So we'll have to talk. I don't know about 12 million for a penthouse, but we'll talk. But welcome everybody here. Again, my name is Logan. Basically, what I'm going to try to do during the course of this really quick demo, now I know we only have half an hour, so I'm going to try to race through things as quick as I can. I want to show you guys a little bit of how the remarketing aspect of StreetText is going to actually work. So I'm going to demo something really quickly, show you how to import lists and do all sorts of things, give you guys a few ideas as to how this is going to work. But most importantly, I want to make sure that we do leave enough time at the end of this for Q&A. So if you guys do have any questions along the way, please do enter it into the chat. I'll do my best to address them as we go. But most importantly, before we wrap everything up, I'm going to give a good glance and make sure that every single question has had an appropriate answer as best as I can. Basically, what we are here for. So retargeting, essentially, I don't want to spend a lot of time on that because you guys all, by at this point, you know exactly what retargeting is. Essentially, if you have ever, you know, shopped online, you were looking for shoes, clothing, whatever it might be, you entered something into your cart. Maybe you didn't buy it though. Well, next time you log into Facebook, what do you think is going to happen? Hey, remember those shoes? Remember that shirt? Remember whatever it was, that car you were looking at? That's retargeting, right? And now retargeting has become one of the most important aspects of most of these bigger businesses. That's a huge portion of their business is staying in front and building that brand recognizability and recognition. And that's essentially what we're trying to do. And what I would say is we're not just doing retargeting. What we're calling our, setup is remarketing because it's more than just, retargeting some people with some stuff. We really want to be able to do this as a multifaceted approach, a triple pronged attack, if you will, where yes, you're bringing in leads, great. We want to follow them around with people, but with ads, sorry, but you also want to be able to drip on them with emails and text messages. Maybe you want to kind of correlate this with your mailing campaign, so you can have a postcard that's going out to people, and then also take that exact same image and use it as a an ad campaign at a very low cost on Facebook, so you can follow the same people around in multiple locations, which again enhances your brand recognition. The more people see you, the more they know you. The more they know you, the more they begin to trust you. We all know it's the know, like, and trust model, and that's essentially where this all gets to. So again, if you guys have any questions along the way, please do put them into the chat. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly share my screen and I'll jump into just a couple ideas as to how we here are going to be helping you guys set this up, right? So again, back to our roots. The whole idea with StreetText is Facebook ads, or just ads in general, made easy. That's really kind of been our North Star. How do we help more people accomplish, more things in the easiest way possible? And that's kind of what we've done here. So we've taken the whole idea of remarketing, retargeting, whatever you want to call it, and we have simplified it. So I just want to show everybody here. For everybody who is familiar with StreetText already, can you see my screen here, Terry? Did that pop up properly? You can see all my contacts here. Awesome. Okay. So as you can see here on my screen, I'm in the contact section again. If you're familiar with StreetText already, you'll be already fairly well familiar with what you are seeing. Now, the first thing that you can see is I've got a couple groupings already pre-made, and I'm going to make a couple more so you guys can see really quickly, but one I've already created was my buyers. So I can click here now on a buyers group. What it's going to do is my contact section will now display only the people that I have already tagged as buyers. So this is current leads that I've already brought into my system either through imports or leads that I've acquired through my StreetText ads. Now, as you can see, the one similarity is they all in this grouping will be tagged as buyers. So now what I can do is I could build an audience and I could do all sorts of stuff, which I'm going to do, but I'm going to start from scratch with sellers. So what we'll do, get rid of this first tag, and I want to categorize and display all my sellers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to select a tag. That tag will contain sellers, right? I'm going to show you.
While you're on that, question, are these, just for clarity, because I'm sure I'm not the only one, are these people that are generated as sellers or buyers from StreetText first that got implemented into the CRM, or are these people that are buyers and sellers that you're implementing first and putting them on a system?
Yeah, good question, and both. So right now, as I'm creating these filters, what it's going to do is it's going to find people who are already in my system. So I could have taken a list from an external source, which I'll do that a little bit later in this demo. I'll actually show how to import a list from, say, Remine, or all of your leads that were in Follow Up Boss or KV Core or wherever. All you need to do is make sure that they're in what's called a CSV file, and then we can import that list of leads, which will come in here. So I'll show you that in just a sec. But right now, what this is all the people who've either been imported previously or who've already come through one of my existing ads. So I'm running ads that are buyers ads, sellers ads, downsize ads, whatever it is. All of those individuals are tagged accordingly as they come into my CRM. So then you can see whatever those tags are, and you can have multiple tags. You can have buyers and sellers together. You can have all sorts of different tags that, mingle together, but we can still segregate them based on what that tag was. So again, I can come in here and go, let's select all my seller leads. Great. I'm going to hit show results, which I've done. Now, all of my people who are sellers are identified here. So what I want to do is I want to save this filter, and I'm going to call it naturally sellers. Great. So we're going to save that as new. Now you can see I've got two groups. I've got buyers and sellers. So now that I've got this saved sellers group, What I want to do in order to start building retargeting or remarketing ads for that group of individuals is I want to create them as a Facebook audience. So this is the part where I guess the rubber meets the road. If you're trying to do this yourself, can you do all of this without a company like us? Absolutely you can. But this is kind of, again, the power of StreetText is that it's just so darned easy to do. I've created that list or that grouping, if you will, of people who've already been identified accordingly to my system. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into the settings gear here, and I can click on this little tab that says audiences. Opens that up. As you can see, I've already created my Facebook audience for that buyers group, but I haven't yet for my sellers. So I want to create this Facebook audience. I simply click on that. Now, all of the people that I had showed you before that I grouped together as sellers, now they're grouped together essentially ready to go on Facebook. We know where they are. We have their information. We're good. Now what I want to do is I want to run an ad that's going to go not after a geo tagged area, but I want this ad to go after these people specifically and exclusively. Now, one question that you kind of asked there, Tara, is, hey, are these people who are already in, or are you importing your list, whatever it might be? Well, I've created this list now as of those leads that were in here today. But now let's say, for instance, I'm going to import more leads, or as leads are coming in throughout the weeks, all I need to do is every so often, and this is going to be automatically resyncing, but I can just come in here and resync this audience. That way, anybody new who's been tagged or added to my CRM as a seller will now be part of this group going forward. I don't have to recreate ads or anything. All the ads that are already created, it's just updating the audience consistently. So again, it's just super easy.
Okay, so just for clarity,
Mhm.
the leads that are coming through, either A, were already tagged, they're tagged, so this is synced to your CRM. So if you tagged a specific tag, because one of the questions we got is that, who's setting up that initial tag?
Yeah, so you can set it up in a number of different ways. Like as the leads are coming in, if you're for your StreetText leads are coming through your StreetText ads. All we'll have to do is, and I can show you this after, we go into the ads screen, we go into the funnel, so the automations, and that's where we'll apply a tag. So I can make it downsizers, buyers, sellers, whatever I want to put, first-time home buyers, whatever tag I think would most appropriately fit the ad that I'm currently running and that's generating those specific leads. Then I can create an audience for it. And then again, that audience will just resync over time. So now I'm going to create a bunch of ads. Those ads are going to run at like $1 or $2 a day. But I want them to be evergreen. I want them to last basically forever. I don't want to constantly changing them. I want them to be out there forever. So, I build this for, let's say, an audience base of 100 people today. Well, as my audience grows, I don't want to have to keep launching new ads. I resync this audience, and those new people are added to, that current pool. So that ad will just be displayed to more and more people as we go. Lots of fun. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is we're going to quickly jump into the ad building side of things. And I just want to show you again how easy this is, because now you're going to say content. Obviously, content is next. Now I've got my audience. What am I going to say to them? Great. Not only do we've got a bunch of templates now, this is one of the things that we do here at StreetText is through collaboration with our community and our marketing department and everybody, we just come up with new stuff as often as we can to speak to the people the right way. So what we're going to do, jump over here now to the funnels section. Again, if anybody who's already used StreetText, you're going to be very familiar with this. Anybody who's not, my strongest of recommendations, use the link in the chat section there. I think Jake put it in there. If not, if you could put it in for us again, please, Jake. Get started on your 7-day trial, and you can come and you can learn about the remarketing stuff. You can learn about everything, the nuts and the bolts, the inside and outside of StreetText. Let us kind of help you get things set up, and more importantly, answer the rest of your questions and get things ready to go. And if and when you're ready, we'll then help you build some ads, and then we can add retargeting as we go, of course. But again, the most important thing is just to come, attend one of our demos and meet us in person so we can answer your questions. But back to the task at hand. What we're going to do, we come in here to the funnels section, and then you can see we've got a number of filters, so I can filter the ad types I'm wanting to run. So right now I want to run a remarketing ad, and you can see we've got 7 templates for that currently. So I can just simply click on this filter, and it'll filter the ads that we have templated for remarketing purposes. Now, one of them that you'll see, and I won't touch too much on this one right now, but we do have one that's fully customizable, meaning that if you don't see what you want to promote in one of our templated options, you can simply build your own, whatever you would like. Really no holds barred on that one. So we can also help. Come to my custom ads class every Wednesday and I'll help you set that up. But that's the general idea here. So what we're going to do is we've created a buyer's and a seller's audience. So what we should do is let's create an ad, maybe for this one here, remarketing. It's the 25 insider secrets for home buying, right? So I want to set that one up here. I'm just going to simply hit select. That'll pop up. It'll show me my image. If I wanted to, of course, I can get rid of that image and upload my own image. Now, keep in mind, imagery is very important. And with these ads specifically, while we try to make it so our ads don't really look like ads, when it comes to the remarketing ones, it's not as big of a deal. In fact, I actually kind of go the other direction where I don't mind it to look like an ad, so long as it's, again, promoting me in a positive light and giving value to my clients. So again, what I'll do is I'll come in here and hit select. I'm going to leave this image in there. I'm happy with the verbiage. I like the way it looks. I'm going to hit next. It's going to ask me for my privacy policy. I just skip by that. We're good. Hit next. Now, this is the one part that's different from our typical ads. Usually what you do at this stage is you set your pin drop. So I want to do 15 miles around, wherever, Pompano, Fort Lauderdale, wherever you are, right? So that's great. But for now, there you go. Be very specific. I can't forget about that. But now the idea is we're not targeting, again, a geographical location. We're targeting a subset of individuals. So now I want to either include or exclude. So maybe I've been seeing too many realtors come through some of my ads and I want to exclude my realtors or whatever. You can absolutely do that. But again, that's not really the purpose for this. What you're going to do is you're going to include one of your customizable groups. So for now, I'm going to do buyers because I've already grouped together all of my buyers. And again, either they're generated through StreetText leads or I've imported my list of leads from other places. Doesn't matter. They're all grouped together as buyers in my system now. So now I can hit buyers. Next, I would usually recommend a $1 or $2 daily budget. And as opposed to what our typical recommendation is with split testing ads, don't split test these ones. There's no need. You just run a one-off and you leave it to do what it's going to do. Simply hit deploy. You're done. It's going to launch that ad and it's going to keep going after those people, right? That's really important. Now, the next thing that's really cool is as that ad's running, what you can then do, and I don't have, unfortunately, I haven't ran the remarketing ads in my own account, so I can't really show you all the stats, but what you'll be able to do is you can come into this section, then click your remarketing ads. You'll be able to see so much information that is specific to the remarketing ads. What I mean by that is you can see your return customers, the people who are coming back. You can see everybody who's clicked, the impressions, what your cost per impression is, how many unique people have been reached, and what your average cost, per person reached is. And the other thing that's really nice is we've added a feature now so that when somebody who was a client of yours before actually comes through and clicks through this, they're going to show up at the top of your contact screen, and we'll actually be able to tell you that not only did they come through an original ad, they've also come through one of your remarketing ads, which will then, of course, should prompt you to get active real quick and speak with that individual, because that's clearly a good sign. Well, any questions so far? It looks like we've got a few. Maybe I'll stop for a sec and
so one of the questions would be, can you just remarket leads from a specific ad only?
Yeah, you would be able to. So what you could do again is I would come into the contact section and I would create a filter based on that. That would be one way to do it. So you can come in here and you go select an item. That item is a particular ad. What ad is it? Right? Pick your ad, whichever it is, and then you can filter by that and create an audience. Or again, you can simply take that ad and apply a specific filter to it. Maybe, for instance, you're wanting to do a particular listing, right? You've got one of your listings. So what I would do is I would create an ad using this one right here. And I'll take you through it real quickly, but so property listing V1, this is a way for you guys to promote and advertise your actual listings and acquire buyer leads on the way. So if I was to do this, I'd put in my information real quick, Kelowna, it's a 6 and 5, whatever, quick description, whatever, right? Redirect URL, which is going to take them to my website where they get to see that listing in all its glory, but I'm not telling them it's at 123 Maple Street yet. I'm just telling them it's a new listing. Click for more price, for price, location, photos, everything like that. I put in one image of that that home. Then what I would do is I'd get into the funnel after I've created this ad, and I would apply a tag of 123 Maple Street, right? So that now every single lead that this ad generates in terms of buyers will be tagged not only buyer, but 123 Maple Street. So then I can target buyers generally, and that person would be included, but I can also filter specifically, hey, I saw you looking at 123 Maple Street. We actually just came up with a new listing very similar to that one. It's kind of like that, sorry you missed out last time, but we've got another one just like it. And you can run those at $2 a day. Every time you get a new listing similar to one you had before, find the same group of people who found interest in that previous one and highlight through emails, text messages, and ads on Facebook. It's again a triple kind of pronged approach.
Why $2 a day?
Simply because you don't, the audience itself is really what the budget is required for. So if I'm doing 15 miles around, let's say I'm doing 15 miles in LA County, how many millions of people is that going after? In order to support that, I need a bigger budget. Whereas when we're doing this, we're talking hundreds or thousands of people, and it's already targeted individuals. So the algorithm isn't going out seeking new people. It's just trying to stay in front of these ones. So the required budget is considerably less. Could you put more money behind it? Of course. But as with anything, especially in marketing, you can always solve problems, or at least one of the solutions is paying more money, increasing your ad budget. Great, but let's try that last. Since there are other solutions that don't cost more money, let's try new imagery. Let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. Oh, it's not working, or you want more of something that is working? Add more money to your budget, but start at that small amount and build and grow over time.
Understood. And then one of the other questions was, will StreetText run the same ad for two agents that are running ads in the same Facebook with 15-mile radius?
Yeah, I mean, it's something like we used to, I don't know if worry about's the right word. We used to worry, I guess, a little bit about exclusivity and how we could maybe offer stuff like that. But really what it comes down to is more a marketing gimmick for companies like ours to be able to say, hey, we've only got one space left in the Fort Lauderdale area. If you wanted, you better act now. And it's just cheesy. Or I can come back, in time and say, hey, I've got a lot of interest here. It's going to cost you more money to stay exclusive in this area. We just don't like that. We like to put people together, and what you guys will see, and most the people on LabCoatAgents have already, attended one of our masterminds or been part of our group as well. And it's a very similar group of people where there's a lot of collaboration. It's friendly. It's a lot of friendly competition, but I mean, everybody here comes from a abundance mindset more so than a scarcity mindset. There's more than enough to go around. And if everybody's collaborating, we can see what's working, and then we make our own little subtle adjustments to things. And especially when it comes to the remarketing side of things, very rarely are you guys getting the same leads, right? If
Amen.
Right. So,
and honestly, I should have ideally had some sort of interaction or relationship with them. Like somebody like me who's a repeat business and referrals, it'd be so great to be able to take the people that I met at an open house at that listing and put their information in and then retarget around that listing. And then essentially they probably either they met me, know, like, or trust me, and then do just double back in their face. Another question we have is, are you running ads on Instagram as well as you are on Facebook?
I'm very purposeful with the demographic I'm trying to uncover. Instagram is a considerably younger audience in terms of daily average users, I believe. If you look at the numbers that they display, the numbers will be somewhat similar, but if you actually dive into daily active users, not just people who own the accounts, Instagram is right around 22 years of age, active daily user, whereas Facebook's 36 plus. And if I'm trying to go after, solidified homeowners, especially if I'm running like a downsize ad, for instance, this one here, since we're going to quickly talk about it, I'll show you. This is my favorite ad right now. It's a buyer's ad it's a seller's ad that's masquerading like a buyer's ad. It's fantastic. It works really well, but I wouldn't run this one on Instagram because it's a downsize ad where I'm looking for a 60 plus community. They're less likely to be actively on Instagram. So if I'm doing a attention first-time home buyers or get my first-time home buyers program, absolutely I'm on Instagram. And what our system will allow you to do is as you click through, when you get to the end, it'll say, where do you want to run this ad? Facebook's always checked, and you can check Instagram as well. It doesn't split your budget 50-50 or anything. The way it works is just wherever is getting the clicks will charge that budget until you reach the end of that daily limit. But again, be very purposeful with the kind of audience you're trying to acquire. And again, we can give you that specific suggestion when people come to us and meet us for the first time. They say, here's who I am. This is what I'm looking for. And it's not a rubber stamp, right? Most people are saying I'm looking either exclusively for or more for sellers. We're pretty, used to that, and that's a good mentality to be in, of course. But you're muted.
Are you using a video? It is another question. Are you using video in your advertising? And then also, can you remark with video?
Good question. Video in the advertising, not yet. We're launching something, and this is actually going to kind of tie in here. We are launching a bunch of new features in phase 2 of our remarketing release. One of those, I don't know if it's going to be in phase 2 or 3, but we will be adding the ability to do video in remarketing ads upcoming. Now, we are going to have a slight price increase to our remarketing stuff when the next phase comes. So basically, the smartest thing to do right now is to come, if you don't already have a trial with StreetText, come start your trial, ask those questions there. We'll figure out what that special offer is going to be, and we're help people kind of get that retargeting stuff set up, of course. But again, our prices will, on the remarketing side of things, will go up when the second phase is released in, it might be about a month or so that you have.
Got it. And then we can piggyback, and then we can also table this, that Wendy had asked us, do you have ads for renters to convert them to buyers? And is that something you can create any ad you want?
Yeah, you can create any ad you want. I wouldn't say that is specific to remarketing in any way, shape, or form. However, of course, we can do anything that you wish. Now, one thing that I do is, again, I run our custom ads class every Wednesday at noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 Eastern, and people can come any idea that you wish, and we can work on it together to build something that's effective and appropriate. And then, of course, what you'd be able to do is, if you had a list of sellers that you want to hit with a particular listing, or if you want to hit them with a buyer's focused ad, of course you'd be able to do that. You simply select an ad like this one here. That is, let me go back into my remarketing stuff real quick. You come here and you could select a buyer's or a seller's focused follow-up, but then apply your opposing tag, your buyer's or seller's tag, so that they get the opposite side of the offer. There's definitely things to do that we already have. But again, if you don't see here within the available set of options, we have a customizable one that you can launch quite easily as well with anything that you wish that's open for them. One other thing, just really quickly, and I know that we got more questions, so I want to race through this real quick. I just want to show you guys one more thing, which we kind of alluded to at the very beginning, that I did mention I was going to show you. You can still see my screen properly, right?
Yes.
So what we'll do is I'll quickly show you what you can do to upload a list of contacts from somewhere else. So everybody knows of, let's say, Remine. I'll just choose Remine. Maybe you've purchased a list of clients, or you're importing from your CRM, whatever it is. You've got leads somewhere else that did not come from a StreetText ad, but you want to start following them around with StreetText ads. What you can do is you can come into your contact section here, and you simply go to the import button there. We're going to import a CSV file. We're going to get into mine. I've made one for retargeting, so I'm just going to come in here, click on that. Now I'm uploading a CSV file, and I'm going to hit next. A couple options that show up here. You can match your fields. So fields that were in that that CSV file, we can port them over. You can choose not to port them. If you didn't want the first name, for instance, you can go do not import. Of course, you wouldn't do that, but that's the general idea. So you can go through this, and now we want to do a couple things. I can do an automation entry point if I chose to, which means I'd be able to set up, in my series of emails, I could set up something so it sends to all of these people as we go. I can do that after the fact as well. But what I do want to do is I want to come here and I want to create a Facebook audience, similar to what I was doing for my buyers and sellers earlier. I want to create a Facebook audience. Well, what do I want to call it? I'm going to give them all a tag. And in this case, I'm going to say something like import from, let's say, Remine. Why not? Right? Great. So now I'm going to say import from Remine. I'm going to go down and hit import. Gives it a quick second. It's going to need to be refreshed. You can see here, there we go. I hit reload my screen. Now, all of these people here have just been added. And if I go check the tag, they were tagged as sellers because they had originally come through a seller's campaign. But more importantly, they're tagged as import from Remine. So now if I go into my sellers tag, these people will still show because they were tagged as sellers, but what I want to do is just do import from Remind. So now only those people will be here. Next, I can save that filter, and I'm going to go into the audience section again. And as we can see, it's already created, right? So now everybody that I've just imported is now set on a Facebook audience. So again, super simple. I can just go into my funnels section. I can choose my remarketing templates. I can choose whichever template I chose. There we are. Next, next. Let's hit that list of people that I just brought in from Remind. Again, it really couldn't be easier. Now when I hit next, if I want to do Instagram as well, great, let's do Instagram as well. If I wanted Facebook alone, I would do it that way. That's it. As you can see, I'm missing my Instagram account, but that is fine. And that's, again, it really couldn't be easier. So at the roots of it all, that's what StreetText aims to do. We try to take things that would be otherwise either complex and make them easier, or I guess I should say, just be here for recommendations as you go. It's hard to know if things are on track and working well if you have less to compare it to. And with all the ads that we're running and all the people we're helping here, we have the ability to kind of look across the board and see the big data, see the big numbers, and be able to let you know, hey, for you in your area, based on potential ROI, these numbers are great or not so good, or, you know, not only you should make some improvements, but here are the improvements we would recommend. And not only will you get kind of the help from, you know, our service team here, but you also get help from other users, which is incredibly beneficial. The collaboration, again, within our insider group and our mastermind meetings and everything like that, it's second to none, and it's something that we've been very, very, very happy with. So again, I'll kind of leave it there. I'm going to go through and answer any more questions that you guys have, and I'll just say, yeah, definitely use that trial link in the chat. Come meet us in person, come to one of our demos, get set up with some test ads. You do get a full 7-day trial where the only thing that you have to pay is the ad spend of the ads that you're running. That's it. So it's a good opportunity to come and test it out and make sure it works for you.
Logan, you are great. So just to recap, one of the questions is that remarketing are already people that picked our site, whether they left an email or a phone number, and it goes back to their Facebook page. Is that correct?
Yeah, so basically, as long as we have enough information of the individual, name, number, and email, whatever, that we can then pinpoint and target them on Facebook, we essentially followed them around with ads the same way that they saw your ad originally. They didn't have to come to your page to click on your ad. The ad follows them around, essentially, is the way that works.
Okay, and then sorry, you can continue.
I was just going to say, like, and wherever the lead came from, it you know, they can have come through one of your StreetText ads. You can import them from other places. As long as that contact is brought into the StreetText dashboard, we can then follow them around with emails, text messages, and Facebook ads.
Okay, got it. And then if someone did sign up for the annual plan at $19.20 and decided after 2 to 3 months it's not a good fit, does StreetText prorate a credit back, or is one kind of stuck on that 12-month contract? I don't want to use the word stuck. I appreciate you, Eric, for that question. I don't want to say stuck because that's like a negative word and it brings so much value. And if you're using the system correctly, you're never stuck on anything.
Yeah, and it's funny because stuck was the word that jumped out to me too. And I would actually look at this. So to answer the question, I mean, people, when you get a prorated amount, or not prorated, you get a discount essentially on our monthly fees by committing longer terms. So for those who commit 6 months or 12 months, you will save a little bit of money for those who are only committing 3 months. So we do, I mean, we'll honor our side of the agreement. We expect people to honor theirs. But for people who are in that mindset right now, I would almost encourage you to do one of two things: either think long term and jump, you know, both feet in. But we have solutions for that as well, because there's, you know, being in real estate as long as I definitely paid for things that I wish I hadn't, and wanted to get out of things that weren't really, and it's not that they didn't work or they weren't good for me. And I think that's kind of more what the question is kind of getting to. It's not, hey, do you guys work? Are you any good? Because I can tell you, I might be a little bit biased. Yes, this works, and I think we're darn good at what we do. But is it perfect fit for everybody? And absolutely no, that's not the case. So the better answer to that question in my eyes would be to come in, do the trial. First and foremost, we get people say, hey, I know this is going to work. I'm going to join for 6 months, a year, whatever. No, do the trial first. I really want to make sure that this is a solution that people are looking for long term. And then if you still have any hesitations, do the 3 months, right? Come in, do the 3 months, make sure that you're seeing the pathway, so to speak, after 3 months, and then you have two options, or three options. You can say, at the end of 3 months, this isn't working for me. I gave it 3 months, which isn't enough time, to be honest with you, but at least you've given it 3 months. Okay, now you can choose to leave. Of course, you can stay on month to month at $250 a month, or you can pay the 6 or 12 month lump sum total at that time. So you pay a little bit more money to test your first 3 months, but you can still, save an abundance, a good amount of money by going 6 or 12 months after that 3 month term is up. So if you have that concern in your head, that's kind of where I would do, is definitely do the trial. If you're still hesitant, which you probably won't be, but if you are, start 3 months or 6 months, so there's less to worry about. And then once you got your first listing, once you've got some progress, then we'll definitely move you into the full year.
So I love that explanation. And yes, Eric, so someone would be committed to the 12 months. However, you're able to do the trial first and then try the 3 and then do the 12. And I loved so much about what you said about that. You have to pick what's going to work well for you, right? And pick, like, how do you want to do business? And if this matches well with your mission, vision, values, and belief systems perspective, which is great, and it's able to increase your business the way that you want to do business, this is genius. And as a moderator with LabCoatAgents, sign me up. I'm signing up for the trial.
Yeah.
This is probably I have not signed up with this one yet. So sign me up. And the ones that want to say that you're stuck or whatever, I will be your guinea pig. But I do highly suggest that you take advantage of this. It's a trial. Try for 3 months. And if you're already in line with the goals, and you teach what every Wednesday, you said?
Yeah, I mean, we've got classes for everything. I have daily ad reviews that are my own, and all the guides here have our own individual small group settings that are available Monday to Friday, just for general help questions and setting up ads and going through stats and helping with everything. We also have team meetings, which are a bit bigger. So if you can't make your guides session, well, there's a team meeting, again, 5 days a week. We also, and the big one for me, is the Mastermind. So again, anybody who's familiar with StreetText here already, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The Mastermind is a meeting every single Wednesday where it's a, we lead the meeting, that's fair, but really it's a client, exposure, if you will. It's kind of the, who wants to share wins, who has done, who sold something last week, who's done whatever. And we've got, 20, 30, 50 people, who just want to share what is working, what's not working as well, which is perfectly fine. Because if you share what's not working, somebody else on the call, hey, have you tried this, that, and the other thing? No, I haven't thought of that. Hey, we'll try that. Then that person comes back the next week and says, well, I tried this, that, and the other thing, and this is what's working now. And it's just such a good way to kind of get more knowledge and kind of keep inspired.
A mastermind. That's what we call that.
So
Wendy had asked that if their data is protected when uploading to StreetText. And Wendy, before he answers that question, I would have some more questions for you. What type of data are you speaking about? Are you talking about your clients? Are you talking about your information, your credit card information, your Facebook access? Like, what type of data are we talking about? Because that's
I'll answer based on what I assume she's asking, and my guess would be when she uploads leads from an external source. Let's say she buys a list, or you buy a list from, let's say, Remine. Those are your leads, right? Or if you've generated those leads in another place, if you upload that list, would you be in any kind of risk of, say, us taking those and either distributing to other agents or something terribly greasy like that? I don't know a better word for it, but absolutely not. So your question is absolutely the answer for that. You would be absolutely protected. In no way, shape, or form would we ever promote your leads or give your leads elsewhere or anything like that. You bring in the information, it's secured in your system. We also have two-factor authentication so that people can't get into your account. Of course, the only way in my eyes that I can really see that happening is if you have given your login information personally to somebody else. Other than that, I can't foresee a way that your lead information that you've accrued, that you've either imported or generated through us, would be in any type of jeopardy. They're your leads 100%, regardless of how they got in here, is what I'll say.
You're not the big Z word that takes our data.
We don't say that word around here, but absolutely not. No, that's just not, in my eyes anyways, it's just not a good way of doing business at all. So
I respect that very much. And that's why LabCoatAgents also partners with StreetText, is because we work with really good-hearted people that we also choose to do business with. When I say choose to do business with, Tristan and Nick, and who has started this community. And so Chris had asked that if she uploaded a duplicate contact, is there a way to filter them out, or should she just upload when she uploads the CSV? When she downloads the CSV, she should probably just take care of those duplicate contacts before she filters them out, or does your system do that?
Our system will do that. Actually, there's an ability here. I probably should have touched on that when I was doing my first upload. But when we come in here and you choose upload from your CSV, again, I can choose my CSV file. And now I've already uploaded all those people, right? But if I came in here and there's a little button down at the bottom that says import options, update existing contacts while importing. So if I've got, Joe Smith, and I've got his, let's say his name and number that I had coming through a StreetText ad, but then Joe Smith just happens to be on my one of my other lists, and I've got his address as well, but I didn't have it in StreetText. Well, by choosing update contacts while importing, it'll take any of the new information, mingle it with the information we already have, and then it can drag that person to the top, so you don't have to go through and filter them. So everybody who you've already had will be brought to the top of your contacts list and be updated with this new tag that we're tagging people with as we import them.
Awesome. This is a pretty incredible system.
I like to think so. It's again, it's something we've been planning on releasing for so long, and we just keep working on it until we're finally ready to release it. And now it's just taken off. And it's, again, I can't stress enough just the ease of it. That is 100% what we're trying to do. We're just trying to take something that is multiple pieces. To do remarketing properly, you need to have all sorts of understandings of mechanisms. You have to know how Facebook works. You have to have, maybe a MailChimp or something. You have to have an emailing campaign. You have to be able to connect everything together and then schedule things accordingly. And essentially that's kind of what we do. We just make it so easy to do it all within, 5 to 10 clicks that, anybody can do it.
My first thought was, this is something that I would like to figure out for the first time and then teach my VA how to do it and manage it.
Well, and you can, the beauty of the way our system works is that you can even just send your VA to one of our training sessions.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Train them up. I do, however, recommend your suggestion more. I always think like it's hard to teach somebody or hold them accountable if you don't know the ins and the outs first. So I always recommend that. Come in, learn it, and then we can still teach your assistant, but at least you know it inside and out, so that if your VA is struggling with anything or not doing something appropriately or according to your plan, you know the steps that are being missed, and you can say, that's not being done right. So I always say, get educated yourself first, and then we can educate your VAs or ISAs or whomever.
I love that. And Vicky nailed it. She said she's been doing Facebook ads forever, and this is really so much easier. Thank you, Logan, so much for your time. I hope everybody takes advantage, including myself, for your trial. And let's jump on a call with him. He has plenty of trainings that are through the week too. And let's do this together and mastermind and figure out what's working well and what's not working, and sign up with StreetText.
Yeah, and I'd say anybody looking for a luxury condo or anything in the the Pompano area, definitely hit up Tara, and I might have to take you up on one of those. But yeah, we'll have to talk about what rentals and stuff, because I'll only be there 2 weeks a year.
That's okay. They do 6-month rentals. Right, but we have plenty of other rentals here too.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming. I do look forward to seeing everybody on one of our sessions. Use that link in the chat. Come in and meet with us. Even if you're not ready to start a trial, just come in, at least, use the trial link and come in and meet the team here, and let us help you get things set up.
Awesome. Thank you, Logan. I appreciate you guys, and we shall see you soon.
That's good. Awesome. Thanks, Sue.
Bye.